Hey, it's Rachel. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to the first book video. Finally. I told you that I would have some book-related videos up on my channel, and I have done one reading sprint, but this will be my first official actual book video up on my channel. I decided that I would review all of the books that I have done for my book club for the year, starting with da-da! Oh, the glare. Okay. American Psycho. I actually borrowed the book from my library, but I returned it, so I just thought I would show it on my Kindle. American Psycho by Bret Easton Ellis. That was my October book club pick, but I actually just finished it. December, I'm doing November and December. I'm just doing one book for November and December. So it kind of worked out just fine. So I'm going to start with October's and then I'll work back January, February, blah, blah, blah. So, wow. American Psycho. I actually went back and watched the movie today as well. American Psycho is one of my favorite horror movies. I used to watch like nothing but horror movies. And then as I got older, like in my 20s, my mid to late 20s, I realized that I couldn't watch them anymore. I just became such a wuss and I couldn't do it. And so I started reading horror books, and I love horror books and thriller books. That's my preferred genre, but I read everything. So I was really excited to see how the book differed from the movie. And it had been many, many years since I watched the movie, so I wanted a refresh. It is on Netflix in case you wanted to watch it. So first of all, how did the movie stack up against the book? Well, as usual, the book is better, as it usually is, right? Oh, I lost one of my lights. My lights are not charged, so they're probably going to go out, but that's okay. Okay, sorry, technical difficulties. I don't know where I left off, but I think the movie, well, I mean, you can only fit so much into a hour and a half, 2 hour long movie, however long it was. I think it just had a hard time fitting everything in. And it just didn't do that great of a job conveying the message that the book conveyed. The book did it so well. And I think also sometimes the book did it too well and it got a little too in his mind and a little too repetitive, but also that's what it meant to do. That's what it was supposed to do. You were supposed to see just like how messed up he was, how in his own head he was. So obviously this is about Patrick Bateman. He works on Wall Street. He is a Wall Street yuppie, I guess you could say, with his Wall Street bros who all they care about basically is hard bodies. If I ever have to read hard body again in a book, it'll be too soon. And it's about consumerism and who can have the best suit and look the best and have the best haircut and get the best reservations and, you know, have the best of the best. And it basically consumes their entire life. And there was the best quote that I read. Hold on one second. Okay. This is just from a random review that I found. The book symbolizes society and ultimately the self-centeredness of everyone living on their own personal clouds. Everyone is always making irrelevant comments as though they aren't listening. Pat admits he's a psychopathic killer multiple times, but people either don't listen, mishear, or don't care or assume it's a joke. And it's so true. Multiple times he flat out is saying either literally that he's saying, I'm a psychopath, I kill people, I've killed people, I want to kill you. At one point, Evelyn, his girlfriend, is talking about this wedding, and he's talking about how he would murder her. He's going on, and she's just in her own little world talking about this and that, and he's talking kind of over her, and that's how so much of it is when they're having conversations. Same with his friends, his coworkers. Everyone's always just talking over each other because no one cares about each other. This circle of friends, no one actually cares about one another. It's just this, this status that you have to keep up. It's really interesting. Anyway, I just thought that quote really summed it up very well. It's just, no one wants to believe that anyone in their social circle would be capable of anything like that. That's what I think. And I'll get to that in a second too. But we need to, before we go any further, we need to talk about trigger warnings in this book because there's a lot of them. If you've seen the movie, then you know some of them. The book goes further, and it goes a lot further. It goes a lot further. And I was not prepared. I had heard of things that happen in this book, but I, like I said, was not prepared. There were a couple times, if you watch my reading sprints, there is a moment that happened in the book, and I had a moment where I was like, oh my God. Yeah. And then when I was in the car pickup line to pick up my son, another moment happened and I started crying. So that was cute. Yeah, I just wasn't expecting it. So anyway, I'm just gonna, I have like a list on my Kindle here. Animal abuse and torture and killing. If you cannot handle any type of animal abuse or killing or torture, please don't read this because it happens often. It does happen in the movie as well. It doesn't really show it. It more alludes to it, and you can like kind of, hear it. There's going to be spoilers in this video. Not like huge spoilers, I guess. There's going to be spoilers, I'm sorry. But yeah, if you can't handle that, don't read this book, okay? Please don't. I'm not sure what I'm allowed to say or not say on YouTube, so I'm just going to say SA. I'm going to say grape. I think we know what that stands for. Graphic violence. He goes into great detail about what he's doing to these victims. Misogyny, which we'll also get into. Substance abuse and mental health struggles. Torture. He tortures these victims. Racial and offensive slurs. Cannibalism. That was fun. Mutilation. Lots of mutilation involved. Sexual mutilation. Murder, obviously. It's kind of his thing. And this is a big spoiler. This next thing that I'm going to say, I didn't know that this happened in the book. So, spoiler, hit the next 10 seconds. Child murder. Okay? Yeah. That's what made me cry. Anyway, okay. This book is very much a stream of consciousness, and he's just a very detached person. Like that other person said, everyone's just talking over each other. He's just so detached from everything because he's just not there. He does not care about anyone else but himself, and he's thinking of his next kill. He's thinking of the most random things. One second he is chopping off someone's head, and then the next chapter is about the band Genesis. Just a whole chapter about Genesis and their albums and their songs. And what did you guys think about those chapters? I don't know what I think about that. I think it maybe worked better in the movie when he talked about the music before he did what he did in the movies, when he brought the women to his apartment and stuff, and he's putting on, and Paul Allen and stuff, before Huey Lewis in the news and stuff. I think that might have worked better in the movies than a whole chapter about Genesis and Whitney Houston and Huey Lewis. I don't know. I don't know if it gave some reprieve, that's for sure. But then there's the big question about, is this just a woman-hating, misogynistic book? And there's another really great quote about this, and I'm going to read that. Okay. I believe this was in another review that I read. I love to read reviews after I finish a book to get a different perspective on the book, to see what other people think. It just gives me kind of a clearer depiction of what, I don't know, it kind of makes my thoughts a little more clear. So this is in regards to if American Psycho is a misogynistic book. If there's one thing that I cannot stand in books, it must be the positive depiction of sexism / slut shaming and or abusive relationships. But I've never thought that just showing the existence of something as part of a story equates to endorsing it. I suppose American Psycho might promote misogyny in the same way that any violent art might promote violence. I could not have said that better myself. That is exactly how I feel about it. Exactly how I feel about anything. Like anytime there's like a character that's like racist or anything like, okay, I don't know why I use that as an example, but you know what I mean? Anytime there's a character that's violent or anything like that, it doesn't mean that that book is promoting it. It's just the character in the book happens to be that way, and it's just part of the story. I just thought that that was a perfect way to say that. That is our main character, and I don't think that it was in any way endorsing misogyny or violence. I think this was just a very strange story. And first of all, we didn't even talk. The first half of this book is so funny. If you saw, oh my gosh, you guys, the moon is crazy. It's like a super moon tonight, isn't it? Okay, I'm so distracted. It's beautiful. Anyway, I made a TikTok or something about the first half of this book and how unserious it is. Because, you know, I'm expecting this psycho and these killings and this craziness. It was so funny. I'm like, Patrick Bateman, you are funny and like kind of kooky. And like, I was laughing all the time. And the scene when he's trying to tell these folks at the dry cleaners, I think they were Chinese and they did not speak the same language. It's in the movie as well, but the movie just, oh my gosh, nothing compared to the way it was written in the book. It's so funny. I was just laughing all the, like, it's just so funny. And it's so unserious. It is just so unserious. I wasn't expecting that at all. And I was really having a lot of fun with it. And then it got really dark. It got really, really dark. And you can just tell that he is just spiraling out of control. And he just like, it's like drugs. He like needs his fix more and more and more. And when the Paul Allen thing comes up, it's like, if he doesn't do this, it's, you know, he's not going to survive. He had to get his fix. So we come to Paul Allen. And there's some theories that in the movie, he kills him, and in the book, he doesn't. I think that's how it goes. Because, oh, maybe I'm getting it confused. Because, you know, later on, he goes back to the apartment that's where he keeps all of his bodies. And he goes back and all of his bodies are gone. The room is repainted. There's a realtor in there. There's people checking out the apartment. And he's like, is Paul Allen here? And the realtor, you know, no, I think you should leave. Or did you see this in the Times? And he said, yes, I saw the listing in the Times. And she goes, this wasn't in the Times. I think you should leave. And people are saying that they knew what he did, but they don't want any trouble because of how like affluent the area is. Affluent, is that the right word? And they don't want any trouble in that area because it's so uppity and because of the clientele. So what do you guys think? Because it got so crazy at the end when he's in the book, he's running from the cops and he's killing people left and right and he's shooting and then the next chapter he's out at dinner. And I'm just like, wait, what? Like, did any of that happen? Do you guys think any of that actually happened? Maybe not the running away from the cops. I think that did happen. But the Paul Allen thing and all the other like escorts and prostitutes and all the other people, do you guys think that he actually... And then his lawyer saying, I just had dinner with Paul Allen a few days ago in London or whatever, and saying that, you know, you sounded ridiculous when you left me that message on the answer machine saying that you killed Paul Allen and you killed all of those people. And Bateman just looks terrified, like, what do you mean? You saw him and you had dinner with him. I killed him in his, you know... And I've had killed people in his apartment. Like, what do you mean? So I don't know. There's so many theories about the movie and about the book. I feel like I'm all over the place. This is not a very concise... I feel like this was a bad book to start with because I'm also comparing it to the movie as well. And because it is kind of all over the place, because Patrick Bateman's brain is all over the place. He's psycho, okay? So, excuse me. My next review will not be all over the place. This one is just... It's kooky, okay? But, yeah. I don't know what I think about Paul Allen. I think he definitely killed people. I don't know if he killed Paul. I just don't. Oh, another thing that people were saying is that they think the detective got the name wrong. They don't even think that it was Paul that he was talking about. Because everyone in that book and movie... Nobody knew who anyone was. They'd be like, hey, is that John over there? Hey, is that... Oh, first of all, he's obsessed with Donald Trump. So that was a whole thing. That was a fun time to read this book during the election. Like, what were the odds of that happening? He's obsessed with John. So they're like, oh, is that Ivanka over there? Oh, is that... No one knew anyone's name. Everyone was mistaking everyone for everyone. And Paul was calling Pat another name. So people were saying that the detective when they were looking for Paul, they weren't actually even looking for Paul. It was someone else. They were mistaking him for someone else. So that is another theory that's going around. And I like that theory. And I can't remember if that's the book theory or the movie theory. So people probably have no idea what I'm talking about. So I like that theory too, because everyone is mistaking each other for different people. And everyone's on drugs. So that makes sense. That checks out too. Everyone is literally on drugs. There was also kind of the storyline of, could Patrick Bateman be a closeted gay man or have some sort of something going on in that department because of the Lewis incident that happens. I kind of liked how they did it in the book better than on screen, but like I said, everything just worked so much better in the book than in the movie, even though I still love the movie. It's still one of my favorites. Christian Bale was so perfect for that role. I'm so upset that they're remaking it. Anyway, yeah, he was so perfect in that. There were a couple lines in the book that he just like nailed so well in the movie, and I was like so happy to see it in the book and then in the movie. But yeah, that's also something that I think that he was dealing with as well. Did not deal with his brother and family stuff at all in the movie, which was interesting. I did notice that. The movie or the book did kind of go on and on, maybe a little bit too much, but like I said, I feel like that was just kind of you in his brain going on and on. I don't know. I did enjoy it a lot. I feel like I really enjoyed this book a lot. I feel like it lived up to the hype, even though the graphicness of it, the torturing and the killings, it did get to be a little much for me. I don't mind that stuff too much, but it did get to be a little bit much. He definitely went there for sure. He definitely did. But all in all, I really enjoyed this book a lot, and I definitely want to read more from him, because this is all I know of him, you know? So I'm definitely excited to read more from him. What do you guys think? Are you a fan of the book, fan of the movie? I know there's a lot of women that probably are not fans of the book or the movie maybe, but the book especially, which I understand. I'm not saying that the book depicts women in a very good light, or if you have a different opinion about it being misogynistic, that's totally fine, and I'm not here to change your mind about that. I just thought that person really, not so much, even if your opinion is different of mine about misogyny, I just thought that was a really good way to say that about that kind of subject in general. I just really liked the way that person said that. So that's totally fine if you think that Brett is a misogynistic pig. That's okay. I totally get that. I have to say that it is a 5-star out of 5 for me. I'm doing it. I was gonna knock off a star, but I can't. I love Pat. I mean, you know what I mean? I enjoyed it. I laughed so much in the first half. It literally made me cry and cringe so much in the last. I was on the edge of my seat a few times. Spoiler alert right now, I'm so glad he didn't kill his secretary. I was rooting for her. I mean, I know in the movie he doesn't too, but like that whole thing, like I loved that relationship so much. I just loved that. I loved Evelyn too. I feel like they didn't do enough with that in the movie, and in the book it was so good. If you can get past a lot of the graphic stuff in the book, which it's a lot, I understand. There's some really good stuff there, and a lot of it is so silly and so unserious, and it just has a lot of fun with itself. So I'm not gonna necessarily recommend this book because it's a lot. It's really a lot, and you really have to know what you're signing up for before you read it, because I mean, a lot of times it reads like I don't know if I can say this, porn. It does. And then it turns into horror. So you have to really know what you're signing up for. So anyway, that is my first review. I'm so sorry this was all over the place. I kind of had it like all kind of scripted out, and then I just fell off the rails and just went on my own. The next one will be a little bit better. I just wanted to get this out today if possible. I hope you're enjoying this beautiful supermoon that's outside. It's amazing. I hope you enjoyed this. More book reviews to come. I had no idea what our book was for January, so we will be surprised together. If you do want to check out my book club, this month, November and December, we are reading Nosferatu by Joe Hill. It's Nos4A2, but it kind of spells out Nosferatu. So I just started it today, so far really enjoying it. So you can find me at the Fable app. I will link it down below, but it is the TBR and the and symbol, DNF Book Club. You can find me there. I appreciate you so much. Give this video the thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe if you are not already, and I will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.